was Floyd
That's
gonna,
right.
I'm gonna set it up.
Floyd gonna be the
1 million.
Internet slow. Do what?
So we did that a little bit, not like that.
Not that bad.
It's approving whatever, put in front of them.
No.
You gotta go around. Sure. A bunch of decisions have been raised, going on for years. Are we ready?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, we should. My daughter, she was with me.
And it is. You're good.
Not like me. Her dad
You ready? We're gonna, it's, October 12th at 7 PM. I'm gonna call this meeting to order. If everyone would stand for the invitation.
Heavenly Father, we ask for your blessings on all of us gathered here this evening. We're truly grateful to you for allowing us the ability to be involved in the useful work of our city. We humbly pray for your wisdom and guidance in governing our city and to help us making decisions that will move our city forward. We ask for your blessing on our citizens, our city, and our country. And Father, may you continue to be in all of our endeavors, and may we find unity amongst us all. Keep us all safe and watch over us during our daily lives. We ask all of these things in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any announcements? Anyone?
Two, if I can remember, trunk or treat will be in the city park on October 31st from 4 to 7. And the Paint the Town Pink Hope Vigil will be in the park on the 23rd of October from 5:30 to 7:30. And there will be a candlelight vigil. If the weather permits, we'll walk the road around the park.
What time was paint time?
From 5:30 to 7.
Just a real quick update on the farmer's market that we did this last weekend. Turned out to be a pretty good success. 12 vendors for the first time. 9 of the 12 actually sold out of everything that they brought. And was really surprised by that. 9 of the 12 have already signed back up. We had an additional 18 contact us for November.
Cool.
So it looks like as long as we keep moving that way, that's gonna turn out to be a pretty good thing down there.
What was the sales or whatever for the 3 that didn't sell out? What was it they had? What product did they have?
Just knickknacks.
Okay.
One was some quilting. One just had I don't know what you call it. It's just knickknack stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Cups and stuff. I think the lady with the cups and stuff like
yeah.
that, she probably had a few, but like my wife bought some cups from her and she asked her to leave them until the end so she could keep them for display.
Yeah, I mean,
Because they were custom made, but, and go ahead. I don't know if you were done or not.
they were all just really surprised at how they just sold out of everything. Every one of them made more. There was a couple of them that had said they've been to some Dallas ones that hadn't done that good. From the time we opened it to the time we closed it, it was always a steady flow. So,
Well, that's good for first annual. That's great.
Yeah.
I know the lady
I
at
wish I could
the
be
that
part of
has the pie shop. She brought 40 pies and sold everyone else.
She was gone by.
She sold out.
It was 2 hours early.
Yeah, we bought a few.
Well, she was gone by 10:30, I think.
Yeah.
And so that's what I wanted to say on the announcements was I was very, very impressed with the farmer's market. There was quite a few people there, and when I went around and talked to everybody, I was there twice. I think my wife was there 3 times, but when we talked to everyone, the consensus across the board is everybody was loving what they were doing. And a lot of them were saying, we're almost out. We're almost out of stuff.
That's great.
We had a couple of the ladies running around just taking notes, finding issues, finding things that work. We sent an email to all the vendors asking them just to give us a response of what they thought. So our next farmers market meeting will just be a breakdown of what went wrong, what can we do better. So
And the one thing I want to make sure, and I shame on me, but I forget the lady's name. It's with the farmers market.
Kathy O'Neill,
Kathy,
Molly, I did.
Elena.
Maybe Alina. She came up and brought the flyers on Thursday or Friday last week. Anyways, she told me there was a few things, and I asked her to make sure she got with them about the campsites, so we could make sure y'all were positioned where y'all wanted to be. So she's supposed to make sure and get with the office here, and then also she's gonna get with Michael or have somebody when y'all get with Michael to spot out where you are gonna be, so we can check for the little things that are issues.
And that'll be in our what went wrong and how to make sure we're not getting with the city ahead of time to make sure all that.
I just want to make sure we get with Public Works, at least a week out, possibly 2 weeks out, so there's some planning can be instead of the day before.
November 13th.
Same hour,
Oh,
Yes,
8 to 2.
November, I thought I read November 6th.
you did, and it was a mistake.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Maybe you changed it.
Trial and error, yeah.
That's all right, you're gonna have some of that. Yeah, so we're about to get to that. The 13th. Any citizens input related to the Indian agenda items? Anyone? Moving on, consent agenda, 6A is an approval of the minutes from September 14th, 2021, September 21st. The meeting was canceled. September 30th, the meeting was canceled. 6B, approved bills paid and those to be paid. C is approval of financial reports for the month of September 2021. The D is the court report for the month of September 2021. E is the police department report. F is the public works order report, both completed and outstanding work orders for this year. Public works reports for the month of September. And we don't have any reports from 6H through I through L, which is permit reports, code enforcement report, EDC minutes, Keep Tawakoni Beautiful minutes, as well as the planning and zoning minutes. Let's see, we're getting into old business for 7A. Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Make a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda
Robert.
items A through L.
I'll second the motion.
Chris, all in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon Myers.
Robin Myers.
Chris Burkett.
Is unanimous. Okay, moving on to 7A, discussion and or take action on the second reading of ordinance number 249-9-14-2021, establishing a charge and requiring prior payment before the city responds to certain requests for the production of public information or for copies of public information in accordance and pursuant to chapter 552 of 275 of the Texas Government Code, establishing a reasonable limit on the amount of time personnel, governmental body, and required to spend producing public information for inspection or duplication to a requester, and or provide copies of the public information to a requester, establishing costs to be paid by the public for requests that exceed the reasonable limit, providing an effective date.
I'll make a motion to accept the second reading of ordinance number 294-9-14-2021. Do I need to read the whole thing?
No.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Second that.
Robert first, Kevin second, all in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon Myers,
Robin Rose.
Chris Burkett.
Unanimous. I want to point out, Pam to my left of me, I guess her and her husband was trying to get on a cruise that they paid for quite some time ago. They kept rescheduling and everything, so we're in here while she's out in the ocean somewhere having a good time. So,
Yay for her.
yeah, no kidding, no kidding. Moving on to new business, 8A, discuss and undertake action on conveyance of EDC property. Y'all moving short?
Yes, so we are, so we've got one that didn't make it, but we are here to answer any questions that we've got for you guys. We have our civil engineer that is working on the grading process, so we are pretty actively gonna start moving forward on clearing the land, so we can start putting the infrastructure in. So that's where we're at right now, is we are in the process of the infrastructure phase, so we're working with the engineers and the architects to make sure that everything that we have promised you guys can actually be built. So we're doing all of our due diligence, all of our development work. We've met with the excavators that are going to be coming in and clearing up the land. So that should actually be starting within the next week or so. And then we've been coordinating with the fire department to do the clearing of the trees to get that process started. So we're very actively moving forward with everything. We have some exciting news on the other PID side. So we do have a big meeting coming up on Friday with some of our PID developers, because there's a huge interest, obviously, in doing a mass PID development here in Tawakoni. Since we've been working for the last 8 months, building out the project, building the relationship with you guys, getting the land under contract, getting our project put together for the 18 acres. We've now landed on the map, and the big developers are ready to come in and look at some of the bigger parcels. So we've been meeting with the landowners this week to get all that lined out. And so we've got our PID developers that are going to be coming down on Friday to meet with some of those landowners. We've been coordinating with the SRA so that we can move forward to do a PID project. Because right now, what the city really needs is to expand the infrastructure and bring in that gas line that is, right at that line. And so being able to do a PID project will activate and give us the opportunities to be able to do those expansions. So we've been exploring those options and trying to work on that, because that's a very key component, and not just our development being successful, but all future developments. We've got hotel groups, we've got some bigger companies, some bigger commercial clients that want to be in Tawakoni, but the issue is we don't have that gas line. So we're trying to resolve for that issue by helping bring in a PID to help cover the infrastructure costs to expand that gas line, to then be able to bring more opportunities to Tawakoni. So that's very exciting.
How are you gonna meet the minimum acreage on the bid?
So we have been working with some local landowners.
Okay,
We met with them recently. We have to do about 100 acres plus. So we're looking at some parcels that are off of 276 and then down on the actual lake. So it meets our requirements for what we need.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I don't want to disclose exactly.
Yeah,
That's for protection, but
We
yeah.
understand that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
This is a public meeting, it is being recorded, and everything you say here somebody can ask for public information.
Sure.
request. So you do need to be cautious
Yes,
in
sure.
those kind of plans.
Is that where we?
We're actually on the county planning zoning. There's actually 3 items on the agenda, and all 3 of them are PID developments.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
They're
Yeah. So
repeat
the county is very
So they
familiar with PIDs.
see
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Are they
I
all
wanted to
in-
say that, because, I want everybody to know that it is big. But
They're not
anyway,
all in
It's
West
not-
Wapiti though, are they, Jim?
huh?
Are they not all in West Wapiti though, are they?
No, they're
There's
not.
none.
They're spread out?
They're just in the county part of the
Okay.
city. Kevin, do you have anything more on this? Leon, you have anything else on this?
I'm good.
Robin?
Would y'all, there's some people out in the audience that may not know what a PID is. I do, but could you just tell us what that
Yes, ma'am.
is?
So it's a public improvement district, so it's bonds that you get back from the state, and that helps cover your infrastructure costs. So as a developer, your water, sewer, storm, and paving, you get bonds back to help, for markets like this that need some infrastructure and need some growth. That's what those bonds are there for, to help growth in these sub-markets. So that's why we like to do PID projects. So we've done a PID project in Sanger, Texas, for example. So we get, we're putting in a $9 million 4-lane divided road. It's something that the city really needs and wants. So we come in and we find particular projects that will work well with a PID, you know, and so ultimately we see with the need with the infrastructure expansion, it would be a perfect opportunity to do a PID. So just on the basics, it is a bond that's there to cover your water, sewer, storm, and drainage and paving.
Christie, anything more on the subject?
No, sir. Not-
Sam, did you indicate, yes, you did have something? Okay. I was kind of hoping your engineer would be with us tonight to give us a better idea. Just to ask the council, are y'all ready to, you know, the EDC has passed the conveyance of the land. And I know this is something Jim wants to talk about, but before we do, are y'all anywhere close to making a decision on what to do with that land?
Before we even get there, Mayor, I think we need, I'm working on the development agreement that we talked about at our last meeting. I do want to, before you leave here tonight, I'll step out and I want to visit with you about a couple of details.
Sure.
And get a couple of details, and I'll have that ready next week, which is when I told you it would be
Right.
ready when it's met last week.
Right.
And
You're still well within.
I know I'm still with
Yeah,
you. Which is why when I saw this on the agenda, I thought. But anyway, once that development agreement's in hand, and I think that's the time we'll sit down with the council and make the determination as to going forward. You know, I think that's the appropriate time to do that.
So should we table it? Is that what you're?
Well,
Our passage, there's no action to take on it.
Okay.
yeah,
Could pass subject to the development clause.
Well, I mean,
Well, ultimately, yeah, I mean, I think that we'll get on the same page.
we'll get
to
on the
make sure
same page on
everything
the
is
development clause, and we'll have it back here, and we'll move forward.
Yeah, can we do, will we wait till next month or will we do a special session meeting?
Be up to the council,
Okay,
right? I'll make those calls.
Special session.
yeah.
I'm gonna say this council's not gonna wait till next week.
Yeah. let's say move.
Only because we're ready to get moving too.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. We understand.
As well we are.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We're not gonna.
Okay, moving on to item 8B.
I'm gonna go outside.
Okay, yeah, that'd be a great idea. 8B, discussion and or take action on entering into an agreement with the Bureau Veritas North America for enforcement of provisions, jurisdictions, building code and residential code, mechanical code, electrical code, plumbing code, fuel gas code, and energy code, along with plans of reviews inspection. That being said, I'd like to introduce you everyone to Lawrence Crowe, Lawrence Crowe with Bureau Veritas. Big company. We'd like to hear a little bit about you, and that the rest of the council was not up to speed to Kevin and I, but
Absolutely. Yeah, Bureau Veritas, and like you said, my name's Lawrence Crowe, and I represent Bureau Veritas. It's a large company that has a lot of entities, but primarily the area that our area of expertise is dealing with the building code. So plumbing, any kind of construction that takes place from a storage building to a hospital or a high rise, we take care of the plan review and the inspection so that the entire project is done in a code compliant manner. And what you end up with is a contractor that builds it per code so that as it's in your town and it's an asset that's going to be with your town forever, you know that it's safe for your citizens to go in and out of. Is safe, it's built, not just the way the architect designs it, but the way the code intends it, so that it's always a safe structure. We provide the expertise to kind of work side by side. A lot of people, you can be a little bit of an obstacle. Inspection departments, we choose to be a partner with the contractor and with the municipality so that we all get what we want, which is a safe and compliant building. We've got plumbing, electrical, mechanical, plans examiners, every phase of construction. We've got experts in that, and we've done projects, like I said, in this area. We did I don't know what they call it, Globe Life Park now, the Cowboy Stadium, the Ranger Stadium, those large hospitals that are in the Metroplex all the way down. But we work with lots of smaller municipalities in trying to help them with everything from just single family dwellings to small commercial projects. The other thing that we'll bring to you is a line of expertise that from when you go in, every 3 years, your ISO rating, you're gonna have an opportunity to improve that, which helps the insurance rate for your citizens going through that entire thing. Well, our line of expertise is gonna bring you way into compliance, along with the fact that I think we're gonna try to go through the process of adopting the more current codes. So those are the two factors, what kind of training do the people have that are in your buildings and taking care of that? And what code are you under? Those two factors are the ones that are gonna drive how good a rating you get. And with our basically credentials, and we're under contract with you, all those become your credentials so that you effectively have, as good of a rating as you possibly can have for a building inspection.
Actually dealing with the ISO right now, rating the fire department is a lot to it.
Yeah, man.
Well, and if we're able to do this, that will help the
Yes,
fire department's out. It'll help the whole city's
Yeah.
out. So that in turn helps you guys.
Yeah.
And so the mayor and I have met with you prior to this, and just so everybody knows that Bureau Veritas does the inspections for Quinlan and for East Water currently now.
I think Point,
And
bunch of it has that.
maybe so, and so I just, I reached out to Quinlan first, then East Water, just to see how they handle it, right? And without any kind of preloading or anything, what they told me was just great. Oh, they do a great job giving me information like, oh, you usually have a 24-hour or minimum turnaround time. Like if you call for inspection, I'm sorry, you don't call their program. If I remember right, it's a program where it's all entered in and it pretty much.
What'll happen is over time is the permits will be issued through your office. We will send somebody down here to do what we call an implementation, which will train you on our software system so that when our inspector shows up to do an inspection, what he's gonna do, he or she is gonna do is they're gonna record the results of that inspection in real time. And then when you get a phone call from, a contractor say that I passed my electrical inspection, did I this, did I that, you're gonna be able to look on your computer and tell them right away. The result, you're gonna get an immediate result. And then, so the permit is gonna be issued out of your office, and the CO or effectively your final approval of that project is gonna be issued out of your office. You still have control over that whole thing. We're just taking care to make sure that the plans are correct, the work is code compliant, the contractor did what he said he was gonna do, and then we're gonna give you that information so that you're able to issue those on a timely manner. And to your point, and I asked Ty, who's the gentleman that you met with
Yeah,
down at TML, I said, tell me who we have in this area, just in case that comes up. We've got 2 master code professionals and a combination inspectors that all serve this area. So you've got a ton of expertise that is already working here. So they're just going to be making an additional stop in your fine
And
community.
the master code professionals, that's the one you were saying had to pass.
A master code professional is somebody who's passed every single ICC certification. They have every one of them. Certified building official is somebody who has a broad knowledge of all of those inspections and has the authority to run a department effectively, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're a state licensed plumbing inspector. The people that we have in this area all are. So, you'll be in compliance with what the state is requiring. And like I said, and the other thing that I think I highly recommend is that we work with you to get you on the latest possible code. And the best thing you said was you don't have a lot of local amendments that you really want to attach to that. So you're really a lot closer to a straight code, which makes it a whole lot easier to do. And at the same time, the more current you are, the better that ISO rating is going to be. And certainly our people will work with you on doing every bit of that. The ultimate goal for us, although we want the business and we want to do things And we want to be a partner in this for as long as you'll have us. But as you grow, if you have somebody within your department that we can assist in training to give you the ability to do some of that within, we're happy to do that as well. So we want to make this a team thing. So.
One of the big things I hope each of you guys picked up on is they do site plan inspections and what we don't have now, to go over site plans and approve or disapprove before we even get into the building and inspection mode. The other thing is that there is no charge for re-inspections. And that's what we've been inundated with, is re-inspections. Of course, we're getting the revenue from it to pay the inspector for the re-inspection, but and we're not in the business for generating revenue and making money off of inspections and things like that. So there's a couple of great benefits, and more than what I mentioned. That's a great deal for the city, and I think it would teach our people here, since we're lacking code enforcement, for somebody else to know something about codes and rules and regulations and the zoning. So I look forward to moving along with this. Does anybody have any questions? Or?
Well, I kind of got a question that hopefully, Mac, you can help answer. We haven't completely looked at what their pricing is. We took kind of a quick look. And from the little bit of homework that we've done, it looks like that we actually might possibly be able to save the citizens or the contractors or whomever a little bit of money versus what we're doing now, right? And yes, I understand that even though our people are handling it, so we wouldn't just charge the same fee that they charge us, because our people are actually doing something. But I'm thinking, and I don't want to say for sure, but I'm thinking we may still be a little under what we're charging now.
Well,
In us charging.
and in all the cities that I've used BV in the past, and we use BV as backup. We have in-house engineering in Sulphur Springs.
Right.
BV backs them up.
Right.
Equipment, BV's our engineers. They're the engineering firm that does our inspections and that kind of thing. We add a surcharge, and we will, the next thing that I'll bring to you will be a revision to our fee ordinance, add a surcharge on their charges. So when we collect an inspection fee or a plan review
Right.
fee or whatever, they're gonna get paid and we're gonna get paid a little bit.
And it should be
To help
pretty easy
cover.
for us to do,
Should
because
be
you've already
very
done, it in
Yeah.
other cities, or
Yes.
you can almost copy and paste something, because
Well,
the costs are pretty much the same for y'all across the
Yeah.
board. It doesn't matter if you're in our city or the city next door.
correct, standard fee contract.
Yeah.
They use standard fee
Right.
contract.
So that's easy. So
That's,
I don't know how our next step, I don't know if we've got to put them on pause and keep doing what we're doing
no,
until we.
I think you can go ahead and engage them in the contract. And then we'll come in and add the fees, and what we may miss is 30 days here. But we're at the time of year when you're not issuing one permits.
Yeah, that's
Question
true.
though, he said that you're with the International Building Code, is that correct?
Well, the International Building Code is the code that we enforce.
And that's what
Okay, and I think we are behind on that. I think ours is 2019.
Okay,
So-
you would be potentially the 2018, and I haven't looked to see which
Okay,
one you've
2018.
adopted, but if you're at the 2018 ISO wise, you're in good shape. You're far better than most people. We've
Okay.
got people that are 30
I'm
years.
not sure I have to look on those books.
Yeah, we just discussed that long ago. We're 18. Not long.
I'm pretty sure.
But if you're in the 2018 ICOs, and they change about every year, every 3 years, the code cycle repeats itself, just to bring everybody up to speed on new technology, anything new in the industry.
Yeah, I don't think we're as far behind as a lot of people are. So
What ISO is gonna look for is to see if you're within 6 years of the current code cycle.
there you go.
Okay.
So we're good there. So what you just said at the end answered my
Yeah,
ultimate
yeah.
question. So
Did be an ordinance and an ordinance to change the fees.
Yeah, but we don't have the word, I don't have the ordinance ready.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we'll bring that back.
So we could engage them next week before we have an actual agreement.
We can,
You've got an agreement. If you approve the agreement, and authorize the mayor to sign it, you can go.
Okay.
okay.
All right. Does anybody?
How quickly would you be able to transition over to our city?
Right away. And like the gentleman said, once an inspection is called in, the hardest part is just gonna be getting you all up to speed on our system.
Okay.
But as far as if you call us and say, we got 3 inspections we need you to do Monday, we'll have somebody here do those 3
We have a
inspections.
neighbor down the street who's still waiting. He's waiting, he's been waiting quite a while.
You have somebody waiting down the
Yeah,
street?
down the street from us where we live here.
Okay,
so,
well,
yeah.
I mean, if you let us
He's
know
still
tomorrow, let's do that.
It's
After tomorrow.
a huge
I'm putting
benefit
you on the
for us.
spot.
No, we absolutely, I mean, we aim to please and keep in mind, these people are covering this territory every single day.
Yeah, it's huge for us because we've got a lot of residential fixed to be, already, some of it's already off the ground, they're building, they're going up, but also our commercial development. And right now, we don't have the manpower to sustain those inspections and have them be consistent and thorough with each one of them and not just there to write red tags or something like that.
From a council and an economic development, I know y'all are talking some about economic development, things like that. What we're gonna bring you and what contractors want and what owners want, everybody else wants, is effectively what I called when I was in Irving, speed to market. The sooner they can get a permit, the sooner they can build something, the sooner they have a CO, the sooner they open their business. Every single person in that chain benefits.
Yeah.
And because you're giving us an inspection request on Monday, you gotta get an inspection on Tuesday. So that that contractor has a very predictable outcome as to what's going on there.
Let me just say about BV, there is predictability in having a company like BV because what we've experienced here, what I've experienced in other cities that I represent, when we're finding inspectors in local markets, you get a lot of variability in what gets approved
Yes.
and what gets
Well,
rejected.
Yes.
I mean, humans like consistency.
And contractors like consistency. If they're gonna build to a code,
Humans
they
like
want to know.
consistency.
They want to know that there's and BV it's not perfectly consistent, it's far more consistent.
There's a structure there.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, the person who's doing the inspection in Quinlan is doing the inspection, in West Tawakoni is doing the inspection in East Tawakoni. So they can't say, well, they didn't make me do that next door, it really and truly it's,
Wonderful phrase.
but the beauty of the code is it's a minimum standard and we train our people very well. And we don't let it be the code according to one of us. It's one of those.
So we just.
So-
to-
Is there anybody that has any other questions about it?
I do. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you take over and the inspections such as what Robin is talking about, how is that going to, how do you go to this man and say, look, I'm the new inspector? How does this work?
They've already paid for the inspection.
Yeah,
Now
because
we're gonna change
we
it.
haven't,
Well, my assumption is this person has a permit.
that
Uh,
we have several permits right now that are active. They're
Okay, well,
not
if they
complete.
have a building permit that authorizes your designee, which assuming that you approve us to be that, to access that property and to do that inspection upon their request. So ultimately, what needs to happen is we need to somehow notify anybody who has a permit, the contractors, whoever that they are, that you have a third-party inspection company under contract, and here is how you request an inspection. Early on, we may need to have them call you, you call us, until we get that implementation done so that we can simplify it.
Until we get all these old ones washed out.
Right. What we
Until we
don't
get
do
the
is do
standards
something in the
washed out.
translation. for
And
you.
then how do we pay them? Because,
You mean on the existing?
yes,
Yeah.
Uh,
that's my question as well. you know, because that's, here, they're gonna start doing the inspections.
How have we been charged?
He's been charging, you know, for, if he goes out and they've already taken out the permit, then if it's okay, then that's the fee, it's done. But if, like Jim was saying, if there's a re-inspection, they pay the re-inspection, that's only if they fail with their inspections. So I have 2 houses in Indian Oaks that have paid for their building permits right now, building, plumbing, and electrical. So we've collected the fee. I don't know what inspections, I don't keep up with that except for when they need to be paid, but I don't know what inspections have been done on that. So we've collected money, so we would have to come up with some kind of fee to pay
So
them.
the simple of that is if we've already, okay, so I came in and I've paid you for a permit,
Mhm.
right? And right now, all that you have done as a city is my plan review and my inspection of the slab. Okay, so I got everything else left. All the other trades are left, right?
Mhm.
So all we paid our inspector so far right now is, well, we didn't do a plan review because we haven't been doing that.
That we did on those 2 houses.
So we have on
We
those
did on
2
those
houses.
first 2 houses.
So we're not gonna have to do a plan review unless that's something, we're gonna have to work those
Yeah.
details out. But it's pretty simple to the fact that they're gonna come out and they're gonna do, if it's the ones that haven't had any inspections, those are real easy. The ones that have had like 2 inspections, they might be a little bit more difficult, and the city may have to bite the bullet on those. And we may take a little bit of a loss.
Yes.
But we'll be willing to bite part of the book.
And I appreciate
And
that.
we'll be willing, but we don't expect you to
Those-
lose money on
those
something.
few-
in business.
Those few, we're gonna have to work the details out. The ones that we have any open permits right now that we've had 0 inspections, those are easy. Because we've already
Right.
collected the
We haven't
monies and
paid
we'll
any
just start
fees out.
paying them their fees as normal.
So assuming we come to an agreement, if you would get me a list of the ones that are partially done, I will get with Ty and we'll come up with an arrangement that you're comfortable with that's gonna make sure that you're ending up in the black to make sure that we take care of that.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, I just,
I wanna, is that it? I wanna make a motion that we approve to enter into a contract for 8B with Bureau Veritas to start doing our city inspections
I'll second that.
Authorize the mayor to sign on that.
and authorize the mayor to sign on behalf of the city to sign the contract to enter into a contract with Bureau.
Okay, Kip Leon, first and second, all in favor?
Kevin Featherston,
Waiting on you, Leon.
Leon, our
Robin Myers.
Chris Burkett.
Unanimous. Good, we're glad to have you aboard, Ron. Look forward to, getting to know you and seeing you around.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be a big
Glad to
plus
be
for our
on
city
board.
that are,
Look
that are
forward to you
developers
all.
that are here tonight. This is
Uh,
a huge,
This will help a
huge
lot.
win.
Yes,
A
yes.
huge win,
We're very
because
grateful.
we weren't ready to make that next big multi-million-dollar improvement without improving that side of the business.
Right.
Okay, moving on to 8C, discuss and or take action on resolution 381-10-12-2021, adopting the new voting system acquired by Hunt County Voter Registration Administration for City of West Waukene election. You got any on that? Yeah, I know you got some packet.
yes. I-
Oh, actually,
it's in
right.
there. All it is
Yeah,
it
I got it.
states in there that, oh, this is on the voting system. It states in here, the, Hunt County has taken on a new vendor. It's Hart Intercivic. The equipment is Verity Voting System version 2.5. The type of equipment is Verity Touch Rider Duo, Duo Scan, and Duo Controller. And this has part of the election process that the equipment will be used in. It will be used for the entire election process to include early voting by mail, election day, and provisional ballots. What election it will be used for is for any of these elections that are held by the city.
All of them.
So that's what this is. The state of Texas requested them if they made any changes to any of the voting equipment or anything, that it had to be made you know, and it had to be adopted this way.
This is local government code requirement. We have to approve the voting system. This is the voting system will be used. So we have to approve. I drew the resolution up at the request of Hunt County Pledge.
I'll make a motion, we approve this.
I'll second it.
Well,
That
yeah.
means no more coloring in the little dots.
Kevin Featherston.
Leon Myers,
Ron Myers.
Chris Burkett.
It's unanimous. Okay, D, that's it. Have any, oh, sure.
I did,
There's so
so,
many people
yeah,
there.
I did, so let me start off by this.
Yeah.
So the fire department has, added to our executive board, we added Leon Myers to our executive board. And I am gonna let Leon Myers just do a quick brief summary of our August for the council. In August, we deposited, I'm gonna round these numbers off, $4,100. We had expenses of $3,400. That was in our operation account. In our medical account, we added no deposits. We had $400. We spent $149. And then as far as our response calls for August, the medical EMS calls, we had 66 and assisted 18 requests. Structure fires had 0 and assisted 1 request. And those assistants could be out of our city, they could be.
They're going to be out of.
They could be anywhere. And, well, they would be if we had 0. So we had fire investigation, 4, 0 on the assist. Brush fire, we had 2, 0 on the assist. Vehicle fire, we had 2, 0. Water rescue, we had 2. Motor vehicle accident, we had 1. And police assist, we had 1. Total calls, 98 for the month. So that means these volunteer firemen got up out of bed in the middle of the night and
Yeah,
Only 3 times.
went out,
Yes,
went out 98 times.
yeah. Didn't you have 5 water rescues in one day? Or was it in a week or what?
At one time, yes, we did. This is August.
You know, I understand. I'm
At
just saying,
one
yeah.
time, we had 5 of them in 1 week. That was
Yeah.
probably in September.
Yeah, it was
July, I think.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Kevin's in a hurry, go see the grandbaby.
I'll take it.
Robin seconded, all in favor.
Kevin Featherston.
Leon Myers.
Ron Myers.
Chris Burkett.
Robin second.
Yes.
I see you.
And Jim
Oh,
McElroy.
Jim
McElroy, third.
Just a second.
Go on.
You got a minute? Annette, are you where you want to go with him? Or-
I know, I just, I was, you know, so because I'm still in my cars, I did that. You go by Matt. He just, he called, so I can go by. Okay, yeah. Something.